Hey, I'm Fabio Wibmer and I'm gonna teach you how to wheelie in 3 easy steps.
It's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
Man, it's a ticket talking miles for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
Alright, so to start things off with the wheelie, we're gonna make sure we've got the perfect bike setup. There are a couple of things to keep in mind which can help you to learn the wheelie as quick as possible. So one of the most important setups is the height of your seat. You want to make sure the seat is a little bit lower than you would normally ride uphill. So in my case, I would probably ride uphill like this, and for the wheelie I slightly go a little bit lower to make sure it's a little bit easier to keep the balance. Another thing to keep in mind is using the right gear. I prefer using the 4th or the 5th gear. In general, using a lower gear will just help you to get started. So next thing is the tire pressure. Not a lot of people are aware of this. So just make sure you've got a high tire pressure. I've got like 2.5 to 3 bars in it. It will just make it way easier for you to learn the wheelie. Another very important setup is the angle of your seat. Just make sure the seat angle is not pointed backwards and it's like leveled or even like a little bit more tilted to the front. Make sure you've got a good working rear brake, otherwise you're gonna fall back. Also, when you're riding a full suspension bike, it can really help to set up your suspension a little bit stiffer, a little bit harder. Just makes it better to like feel the bike and to not like sag in. Alright, so the second step is how do we get into the main wheelie. There are 2 things to keep in mind. It's the pedal movement and the movement of your upper body and your arms. When it comes to the pedal movement, I tend to really put my dominant foot all the way up to make sure I'm gonna start from the highest point. So at the same time you're pushing with your foot, you're making sure you're gonna pull on your handlebar and lean your whole body backwards. Those 2 movements combined will give you the force to get into your wheelie. Alright, so the third step is gonna be how to hold your wheelie. So if your front wheel is up in the air, it's all about finding the right balance point. If you're leaning too much backwards, make sure you're gonna use the rear brake. It will stop you from falling backwards. If you're leaning too much to the front, you have to make sure you're gonna give it a little bit more pedal impulse to get the front wheel up again. Another thing is if you're falling left or right, you can use your knees to keep the balance. So a little tip at the end, try to find a slight incline. It will definitely help you to learn the wheelie. Just remember the wheelie is all about practicing. Just don't give up if it doesn't work out straight away. But with those 3 easy steps, I'm sure you're gonna make it.
It's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
Man, it's a ticket talking miles for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.